All right, so now that you know more about Forex, in case where you are new to Forex, main purpose of this course is to teach you MQL4, MetaQuote Language 4, a programming language used in writing an automated script or an automated program to do operation on MetaTrader 4, right? We have different kind of scripts that we can potentially create, and one of it is indicator, and as you can see, we have indicator. Another one is expert advisors. Another one is scripts. Then another one is include files. So let me quickly introduce you to Meta Editor. The moment you download your MetaTrader 4, it comes with a Meta Editor, which you can use in automating, programming something for your MetaTrader, for your terminal, right? So how do you activate this MetaTrader? So you can simply click on this icon. You can just go for MetaQuote Language Editor. So when you click on it, it will load and it will activate your MetaQuotes for you, right? So now, as I was saying, what are the type of scripts you can create for your MetaTrader 4, right? You can just go for file, then you go for new, then this pop-up will come. Now, you can create an expert advisor, you can create a costume indicator, you can create a script, a library, include file, new class, Python script, database, But on this course, we are going to be focusing on expert advisor, custom indicator, script, include files, right? So now, what is the difference between these guys? An expert advisor is simply a script or a program that runs every time there is a change in price. So when you add an expert advisor to your chart, we are going to look into how to add that shortly. So when you add an expert advisor to your chart, it will monitor the market. So it will always run the operation you give it every time there is a change in price. Each time there is a change in price, which is tick, remember in the terminology, tick. Each time there is a new tick. For example, notice there will be a change in price in yes, you can see the change in price, you can see a change in price, you can see a change in price. So as this, you can see there is a change in price. So each time there is a change in price, that means there is a new tick. Each time there is a new tick, the expert advisor will be able to run whatever you want to run. Then you also have the ability to send out trade, right? So you can trade from your expert advisor script, your program, you can trade from it, and you can send out a web request. Maybe you want to verify a license, or maybe you want to send out Telegram message or whatever you want to send out. You can do whatever you want, but you are only allowed to add one expert advisor on a chart per time. For example, if you decide to have this let's assume you want to have this. Let me say yes. You can see I have this expert advisor already here. So let's assume I want to add another expert advisor, right? It is telling me that I need to remove this previous one before I can add this the new expert advisor. So it is telling me that do I really want to stop this to execute the next one? If I say yes, you can see it will replace it. And if I want to add another one, it will replace it. So it is telling me that I cannot have more than one expert advisor on the chart. So that's just the limitation of expert advisor, right? But we can execute a trade from an expert advisor. We can run a web request and so on. So that is that for expert advisor. And for custom indicator, so an indicator is just a script that you can use in doing an analysis to give you a signal, maybe a moving average, RSI, to tell you maybe when to buy or when to sell. Maybe it contains a mathematical or statistical models that you've coined. But the point is, an indicator runs each time there is a change in price, but you cannot send out an order or a trade from an indicator, and you cannot do any other related thing. Maybe you want to check, you want to modify the order, maybe you want to, whatever, maybe you want to delete the order. You can't do that on an indicator. Also, you cannot send out a web request. Maybe you want to send out a Telegram signal. No, you can't send out a Telegram signal with your indicator, because a Telegram signal requires web request and you won't be able to do that. So that is the limitation. The true limitation for an indicator is that you cannot send out, you cannot do any other sending operation or other modification of operation, and you cannot send out a web request. So that is the true limitation of indicators. But trust me, you can add multiple indicators on your chart compared to expert advisor, right? So for example, let's say I want to go for indicators, then I want to add maybe this bull. You can see I have this indicator and I still have this expert advisor. They are living on the same chart. So I can still add another indicator. You can see it added it without asking me to remove or delete whatever. So now I can still add another one, and so on. I can add multiple indicators. So indicator accommodates other indicator or other script or other expert advisor, but an expert advisor do not accommodate other expert advisor. So one expert advisor per chart, right? So, but the limitation of custom indicator or indicators generally is that you cannot send out an order through an indicator, and you cannot send out a web request through an indicator. So that is it. But it's also run every time there's a new change in price, right? So that's another thing. And for script, a script is a program. You can see I'm saying a script because script generally means a program, an automated program. That's just the general meaning of script. But in MetaQuote language, there is a particular thing called script. And script is something that runs once. So the moment you add a script to a chart, it runs once and it terminates, right? So that is a script. We are going to start with a script in this course. So let me quickly show you an example of a script. So this is an example. These are default that came with this terminal. So we are going to create a script in the next few lectures. So scripts are something that executes once and get terminated immediately. Immediately it executes once, it terminates, right? So if you want to run it again, you have to execute it again, compared to indicators and expert advisor that run each time, that stays on the chart and run each time there is a new price, right? And for include files, these are more like a house or a place where we can store our function and we can reuse them. So for now, just have that back of your mind that, okay, this is more like a house where we can, more like a storage place where we can keep things, our functions, maybe our script, this is just a safe place to keep them and make it reusable, so that is an include file. A file where we can store our functions so that we can reuse for later, and we don't need to rewrite them, we just need to call them, and so I need this particular function, please get me the function, and it will execute. So to recap, so an expert advisor works every time there is a change in price and can send an order, can run a web request, but it cannot accommodate any other expert advisor, right, on the chart. While a custom indicator runs every tick, right, when there is a change in price, accepts other indicators, right, on the same chart, but does not allow sending of orders or performing any other related or any trade related feature. Also, you cannot send a web request, right? So that's another thing. Why a script only run once, it can perform web request, it can send order, but it only run once. So once you run it, it will execute once and it will terminate the script. So that is script. And include file is just where we can store our functions or our scripts that we intend to reuse. So that is simply what we will be dealing with. As we go further, we will explain further and you will understand all of this better. And by the time you come back to the video, you will find it easy to comprehend, right? So in the case where you find it hard to understand all of this, some of the things I've mentioned, just try to stay with me. And as we go deeper, you understand better, right? So I'll see you on the next one.